right, so let's dive in and get started. Again, this month we're focusing on real estate bingo. If you don't have your real estate bingo card, let me know. We'll make sure you get a copy of it. And then we're focusing on our trainings on real estate bingo. So today we're talking about using social media to expand your reach. So one of the squares is get a lead from Facebook. So that would tie right into there. It also, like one of them is a virtual tour video for a listing. Social media would be a great place to do that as well. Let's see here. Get a lead from Instagram. So we're going to focus today mostly on Facebook because that's what I'm more familiar with. And no, but a lot of the principles cross over to any of the social media platforms. So that will fall into that one as well. Lunch. One of them is host an open house. Okay. So you could also promote that on social media. So I was looking at that bingo card. So again, if you need one, holler at me. I do have the chat box open. So if you guys have questions, you can feel free to unmute yourself. You can raise your little zoomy hand. You can just interrupt me. You can throw it in the chat box. I'm keeping an eye on all of it, but let's get started. So again, today we're focused in on social media and using that for generating leads and closing transactions. Using social media is one of my favorite methods. Number one, most of us are on there all the time anyway, so we may as well use it to benefit us. Number two, it does change from just like mindless scrolling to scrolling with a purpose, which we'll talk about, and we don't want to get bogged down. So sometimes when we introduce social media into our business structure, we start doing what we're calling lead generation on social media, and it's really just mindless scrolling in the middle of the day that's taking up your time. So when we do this, we want to make sure that we're intentional with our time. We know what our objective is when we log in to deal with this, and that we are continuing to move forward. So just kind of keep that in mind. We're going to talk about today, let me get my slideshow working. There we go. Creating a system to identify your tribe. Let's try that again. We're going to talk about how to create a system around social media. We're going to talk about identifying your tribe, defining what your plan looks like, how to create posts, and we're going to talk about interacting with people. Okay. There's a lot of content that overlaps into different areas, so just be prepared in advance. All right. So first off, you need to have a presence. And I am, I hate to say this, but I would say I'm older. I'm a grandma now of 2. So that qualifies me as old. But there's been a lot of change. When we were growing up in high school, there was no social media. There was no, in fact, when I was young, there was no real internet. Okay. And then we had like dial up, and then we had MySpace, and then Facebook. And then it's grown from there with Twitter or X or whatever they call it now, and Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat. And I mean, there's all these platforms out there. There's a bunch of them that came out, like, I don't know, 4 years ago or so, that I think some of them are still being used. I don't even know. There's like Marco Polo. There's all these fun things, right? It can seem a little overwhelming when we start talking about social media, because there's always new updates, there's new platforms, there's what we call algorithm changes, which is what defines how frequently and to who your posts are going to get showed to. And it's just hard to keep up with it all. So that being said, I would recommend that you stick with what you know, or if you're like, Amy, I don't know any of them, does that mean I don't stick to any of them? Well, no, learn one. Pick up one that becomes your main focus or your main platform. Once you've kind of mastered that, I always go with this this idea that we should master one thing before moving to the next. So whether it's a farm or open houses or, whatever it might be, like focus on one thing, get good at that, and then add to it. So I would say, hey, start with like the one platform you're most comfortable with. Figure out how to utilize that for lead generation. And then if you've mastered that, you're generating leads there, you want to start expanding your business, then pick up another one. Oftentimes, right, with social media, we're already creating the post, we're already doing the work. So to add another one in isn't that hard, but get comfortable with the first one, get that system working first, because there are different tweaks and caveats and different algorithms with each section. So that being said, as I already mentioned, I personally prefer Facebook. Number one, it automatically cross posts onto Instagram. I also use YouTube. There's no wrong or right answer. And I just don't honestly care to learn a new platform. So Facebook, and when I look at the demographics of who's on like a Snapchat versus who's on like Facebook, your Facebook audience are those that are ready to buy homes. Oftentimes our Snapchat audience is younger and they're not quite ready to go into the home buying process yet. So we just want to be aware of that. Who are we talking to? What our demographic is and who are we going to reach? Okay. But all of them can be effective at lead generation. So pick your platform and master it. The other reason that I am partial to Facebook is that you have an ability there to create communities or groups, which makes it so that your lead generation strategy isn't just based on posts. So we'll talk about that more later. And then also Facebook is the largest social media platform, right? So, and as I already talked about when we looked at the age of people on Facebook, those are the average age of home buyers. Keep in mind too that every morning there are 260 million people on Facebook, which is a huge audience. So you want to make sure to know your platform, know the average user, and make wise choices. So let's see here. And I would recommend that whatever platform you're using, that you're going to change your profile to public. Okay, your post, your profile all needs to be public. That way when people start looking for you or be like, oh, she posted in this group, I wonder if she's a good agent, and they start looking for you, they can find your information, they can look you up, they can feel like they get to know you a little bit. And in addition to that, they can share your posts, right? Because we want people doing our work for us. All right. So when it comes to platforms like Facebook and Instagram, where you can have business pages or profiles, they are becoming more and more obsolete. Okay. For business pages to really gain traction, you have to spend a lot of money. Okay. Just a heads up on that. They weren't truly designed for like organic traffic or like an average solo agent. So when I say you have to spend a lot of money, I'm talking like thousands of dollars a month in ad spend in order to get traction. So if you don't have a business page yet, I might recommend not starting one. Okay. Just leave it alone. So it may be a better option to create like a community page where you're going to get more traction for your business instead of that business page, or just, really focus on running it from your personal page. Okay. The bonus item of having like a community page or a business page is that it gives you a page to tag to stay legal, as far as staying in compliance. So if we make sure that like our DRE number and our brokerage is identified on our business or our community page, okay, again, I might recommend community over business. Then you can tag that in any of your posts on your personal page to make sure that it links back to your DRE number and your brokerage. Okay, because remember, social media is first point of contact, and we need our license number, our name, and identify our brokerage on any first point of contact. Did somebody have a question? All right, perfect. All right, so let's see here. You can also do like a page, or you could do like a celebrity page. So keep in mind as well. So maybe instead of a business page, we might want to do a celebrity page. So we can do community pages for areas that we service. We could do a celebrity page for ourselves in our agent status. And you can put your DRE number in the title to that celebrity page. So it might be like Amy Petard, realtor DRE number, right? 017950110, right? And then that way, anytime I tag that, anytime I do a business post, I tag it back in there so that it pulls it back to the front. That way we're staying in compliance. So on that lines, any posts that you make on your pages that have business related content, link back to the fact that you're a real estate agent, whether it's in a group, whether it's an individual post, just remember that we do need to tie it back in with that DRE number and your brokerage information. If you're creating posts, like with images and stuff that is strictly business related, it's really easy to throw your business logo on there. You can even throw your DRE number on there to make sure that you stay in compliance. So just some things to talk about. All right. And you can always throw it in the description as well. Any questions on business page versus community versus celebrity page? And we're talking about Facebook before I move on. And again, most of these items here cross pollinate onto like your Instagrams and stuff like that. All right, so set yourself up for success. It's important to put some time and thought into setting up your pages. First, as we already mentioned, your page should be public. We want people to be able to find you. We want your posts to be able to be seen, and we want them to be able to be shared. Again, also for compliance purposes, in case I haven't said this enough already, but this is such a big thing, make sure to have the DRE number in the description. And as part of any business related posts, if you have that business or community page, set it up that way so that it's appropriate. You can also just like hashtag your license number or your brokerage in each post as well, or you can tag Realty One Group Fox in your post. So just kind of keep that in mind, or whatever your brokerage is. So we want to make sure to do that. Your profile photo should be forward facing, and it should be a recent photo so that people can see your face and recognize you. Okay. No like back of head profile photos, not even really side. We want forward facing, and we want it recent, not your glam shot from 1987. Please make sure it's a current photo. And it's good to, your banner as well, your cover photo, right? It should be crisp and clear. It should be a photo that includes things that you have an affinity for. Okay. So besides you being in it, it should have things that represent you and who you are. Okay. So that might be hobbies. It might be kids. It might be pets that you have. It could be quotes that really like you get behind, right? So whatever that is. So forward-facing profile photo, banner or cover photo that represents who you are. So oftentimes when you look at my cover photos, it's going to be me riding a horse, okay? Because that's what I spend most of my free time doing. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to tell you, which is super important, is change your profile photo and your banner or your cover photo every month. So set a reminder on your calendar to change up that profile photo on like the first of every month. And if you're like, Amy, you haven't done that, you're right. I've been slow. I was doing it really good last year, and then I've kind of fallen off the wagon this year. But on the first of every month, update that cover photo. And then on the 15th of on the first of the month, update your profile photo. And like on the 15th, update the cover photo. So every 2 weeks, you're updating that information on your page because it keeps it fresh and refreshed. And if you're like, perfect, I can do that, you can step up your game by changing it at 2:15. Don't ask me why that's the key time, but it is the key time to update that photo. So have it set and ready to go, and then do the swap out on the 1st and the 15th at 2:15, or the first Monday and the third Monday of the month, or whatever you want to do. So you can make sure to have those photos ready to go. In addition to that, I would say don't go back and repeat photos because it's going to hurt you more than it helps. Okay, there's some really weird social media algorithms out there. But by changing those photos regularly, it's going to help your information get shared with more people and get in front of more people. Our social media systems like it when they use the tools that they've given us. And so if we just set our profile photo and forget about it for 7 years, like I might have done for the last 7 years, before I started changing it out, you don't get as much traction because they're like, she's not using our systems, right? So you want to be doing that so that your posts get in front of more people. So again, change out those cover photos and the profile photos monthly, preferably like every 2 weeks. You would be doing one or the other so that it's getting done once a month, but you're keeping that all fresh every 2 weeks. In addition, your contact information needs to be kept current. Okay, you can have public facing contact that and you also have the ability to have secondary contact information that is set to private. So it's going to help continue to get you in front of more people by having your contact information up to date. And there's nothing worse than somebody who sees one of your posts that's like, oh my gosh, I'm interested in that house, or she seems like an agent that I'd like to work with, or oh my gosh, I forgot what Kimberly's phone number is. It's been so long since I talked to her and I was thinking about buying a house. I should give her a ring. And they go to your profile photo or your profile and they click about and they can't find any way to get in contact with you. So make sure to have that there. You also want to make sure that you have your bio completed, right? Your little bio section completed. And it should be relatable. If you need help with this, number one, there's a system called Fiverr out there, Fiverr. I don't think there's an E before the RR. There could be. If you need help writing your bio, you could use that. You could pay somebody like $10 to write your bio for you, or you could turn to like something like ChatGPT and you can say, hey, you're a professional writer. I need a biography written. Here are some key points that I want you to include, and it will put together a bio for you. You can go in there and tweak it, make sure it's accurate. Sometimes it, ad libs a little bit, that it just takes the liberties that aren't really you. So make sure it's in there. Okay. So DRE number, brokerage, profile photo, your banner or header, cover page. Make sure your contact information's in there, and then make sure your bio's up to date. On that, your bio, remember, we're looking for consistency across all systems as well. So the bio that's on your social media should tie in, if not be the one that you're using for the DRE website, for realtor.com, for Zillow, for your own website, right? All that should tie in together. All right. When we post on our pages, we want to use a 5-to-1 strategy. So on your personal page, you're going to create 5 posts related to your personal life. Okay. And then 1 post that's going to be business. Okay. Now, bonus, if you can subtly post personal and roll business into it, right? Like I might be like, oh my gosh, I love being a real estate agent because it allows me to take off every Monday so that I can go ride horses and enjoy the trails when the mountain bikes, not mountain bikes, the BMXers aren't on them, right? So I could make a post like that where I'm like really posting about riding, the pictures or horses or beautiful forests, but I'm tying in just a little like name drop that, oh, just a heads up that I am still a realtor, right? So I could tie that into it as well. So something cool like that. So bonus if you can pull that in. So the 6th post, again, 5 posts personal. The 6th post should be business related. And I would recommend that it's more than just here's a listing. Okay. You can include other real estate related news, other valuable house related information, home maintenance, fun things that you see when showing homes. Do you like this type of house or that type of house, right? This kitchen or that kitchen, right? Something fun and offer valuable information outside of just your listings. Now, if you do have listings, do please share them. Absolutely. But don't make that all of your business related posts. You should probably only be sharing your listings like once a week. And then you're going to have all these other posts that you've got to fill in with other valuable information. Try to stay away from things that seem like commercials. Okay. We don't necessarily want to do self promotions. Don't be the pick me realtor, right? Because when people see commercials, like what do you do? Especially in this day and age, we've got all these streaming services. If you can pay a little, a couple extra bucks a month, and so that we don't see commercials, people don't want commercials. They change the channel. So when we highlight even something like our listings, we want to talk about a problem that they might have that we want to solve. Okay. Or that listing would solve, right? Or if we're talking about the fact that maybe we just put a property in the contract after 24 hours on the market with multiple offers, like we want to highlight that. Okay. So that people know that we are an agent that gets things done. And again, we want to really dive into what are problems that people need to solve that I can help them do. If you do have a business page, so that's on our personal page, right? So 5 personal, 1 business. Okay. And then we're going to repeat 5 personal, 1 business. Okay. Just keep rotating that through. If you have a business page or that celebrity page or that community page, then we also want to make sure there's content on those pages as well, because there's nothing worse than having a business page that we haven't deleted and we want to hang on to, but then we're not posting on it. Okay, so when it comes to our business related pages, it's going to be the opposite. So we're still going to use that 5 to 1 plan, but it's going to be the opposite, where 5 posts are going to be business related posts. And then the 6th post is going to be a personal post, because people still want to get to know you. Okay, but on our business or celebrity pages or whatever those are, we're trying to it's more appropriate to be more business there. Okay, we still don't want to just post listings or open house posts. We want to offer information that's valuable to the people that are going to be going to those pages. Okay, do we have any questions about the 5 to 1 strategy?
I have a question. I just had to hop off and hop back on. I just wanted to see if you covered you know how there's a blue check mark and then there's something that says following. Is there something we should be doing with that on Facebook?
As far as
Like
the
it's like validated or
yeah.
official or
Yeah, absolutely. So you can get validated on Facebook. I don't think the other platforms allow you to do that, but Facebook does. You have to jump through some hoops and get validated. Now, if and when you're validated, because now, right, they've validated that you're an actual human or an actual business or whatever it is that you're validating. Then what you want to do there is it gets you in front of more people because you are considered validated. Number 1. Number 2, once you're validated, don't change your profile photo. Okay, so what I said about changing your profile photo once a month, if you're validated on Facebook, don't change it, because every time you change that profile photo, you have to get revalidated. So just kind of keep that in mind. But being validated actually, again, are these social media systems, whichever platform you're using, they want you to use their tools and their little gimmicky things and the new things they release. So if they give you the option to get validated and you go through the hoops to do that, you will absolutely in their algorithm show up to more people. So anytime we do any of their little things.
so you would recommend it. And then
Absolutely.
do you have any idea how to do it, or is
I
that a
don't
question for a different day?
I don't remember how to do it. I don't think it's that hard, but I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yep. I think you have to upload like your profile photo, then you have to upload like a form of ID or something so they can validate the information on the ID versus the information on your profile photo. And I think there's a couple other things you have to do, but I don't know for sure.
I just looked and it's actually called Meta, META verified.
Gotta
And there's a
verify,
get
yeah.
started under your profile. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Any other questions on the 5 to 1 strategy? Alrighty. Now keep in mind too that some platforms allow you to schedule posts and some don't. And we want so that if you can't schedule, then you have to remember to post daily, right? But if you can set it up in the beginning of the week and schedule those posts out. Now, that being said, when creating and scheduling posts, I'm going to recommend 2 things. First, don't post external links. Okay, because anytime Deborah just said that Facebook charges for being verified now. So just a heads up on that. But anytime you post an external link as part of your post, because again, remember these social media sites, they want people mindlessly looking through their sites, looking at all the ads, right? They want you on there. So if we post a link that takes you to a third-party site, they're going to automatically not put that post in as front of as many people because you're trying to take people away from the social media platform. So if you have a link, like let's say that we want to post about a listing or something, and so we're going to put a link to that listing so that people can get all the information for it. Don't do it in the post. Have those pictures in there, put some information about the listing in there or whatever it is that, talking about the problem that this listing is going to solve for someone. And then say, for more information, see the comments, put that link in the comments. Okay. That way they don't bury the post because you're taking people away from their platform. In addition to that, don't use a third-party service to schedule posts or to post to your page at all. Again, they don't really like you taking the easy route. So having a service schedule your posts, they're going to bury them. They're not going to be seen from as many people. So they want to know that's coming from you and not something else. But they do want you using their scheduling feature. So they're happy to allow you to use that scheduling feature on the platform itself. When you post, tag people, but don't do it randomly. Okay, you want to be strategic and not spammy. So when you tag people, you want to make it make sense for who they are and what they do. Okay, the goal here is to get more eyes on your posts, to get your posts in front of not just the people that you're tagging, but get it in front of their friends. Okay, but again, you don't want people removing the tag. So there's some people out there that like tag all of their friends or tag 50 people. And I'm not like, I've got somebody that occasionally will tag me and stuff that I don't even hardly know them. And the posts don't pertain to me. I'm not interested in them. I don't really want to be connected to that post. So you can go in there and remove those tags. And when people remove tags, it actually hurts you more than it helps you. So again, we want to be strategic. So you might have like some strategic partners on Facebook. It might be other agents that you know, although I probably would lean away from that, but maybe like your home inspector and your pest inspector, your lender, right? So all those people that maybe that you utilize on a regular basis, tag them in some of those business posts. If you've got like if I was posting a post about horseback riding, I may want to tag my horseback riding friends in that post, right? Because now that post is going to get in front of more people. And if I dripped in there, right? Like, oh my gosh, I love riding on Wednesdays. The trails are still open. I don't have to worry about, all the hikers and everything. I'm so glad that I'm a real estate agent and can set my own schedule. And now I tag all the people that I like riding with. That post is going to go to all their friends as well. Okay. If you were doing a post about home maintenance, you might want to tag home and pest inspectors, contractors, handymen, right? So make it worthwhile on those tags. All right. So let's talk about what to post. When creating those posts, you want to create posts that people are going to interact with. Okay. The top posts on social media platforms are often those that have like cats or kittens or dogs, puppies, kids, other animals. I just had 5 little ducklings hatched out, but not by a duck. They were hatched by a chicken, right? So like I posted about it yesterday. That's gotten quite a bit of interaction. I will post more videos about it once she's up and moving about with her little ducklings. So that'll get lots of interaction. So make sure to add those type of things into your mix. In addition, you want to create your brand. Okay, so even on your personal page, we're creating a brand. So be consistent in your posts to create that branding. So think about who your target audience is, right? Or what makes you unique or what makes you stand out. What are your interests? Do you have pets, your family? What are your hobbies? What's your story? take some time to focus in on creating your content themes. Okay, because you want to create the brand of you. And when we're consistent in things, it number one helps us come up with posts, and number two, it helps people draw people in, because they're like, oh my gosh, I want to see more ducks, right? So if I'm consistent in posting ducks, whether it's baby ducks or big ducks, then those people who love ducks will continue to look for my posts. When people go to my page, there should be no question that I love riding horses, right? That's my number one thing. That's who I'm trying to connect with. That's who I'm looking to make those connections with, are other people who ride horses, because people who ride horses, they need houses. And generally speaking, they need like farms or ranches. And those are my people. All right. When it comes to business content, leverage information to go further. So use the same content across multiple platforms. If we're already creating a newsletter for our database, like we talked about last week, take that information and turn it into blogs, turn it into emails, turn it into text, and turn it into posts for social media. There's no sense in recreating new content for each type of media. So if I've got a newsletter that has 5 different sections in it, right? Might have a market update, like your home maintenance tip, events coming up in the area, right? I can like take that apart, deconstruct my newsletter, and use it in my posts throughout the month. So work smarter, not harder. The other thing that you can do too, if you need help creating posts or content, whether it's for personal pages or business pages, turn into GPT. I think I said that backwards the first time. And ask it, hey, you're a social media expert. You're creating content for a, real estate agent, or right, it's a luxury real estate agent, whatever you want to describe yourself as. Come up with 20 different social media posts. Okay, so you've got options there as well. So you can lean on ChatGPT to come up with topics or posts, whether it's personal or business related. All right, next, you want to be engaging with people on social media to make it an effective form of lead generation. So add everyone to your social media. You can add them as friends. You can invite them to follow. Make sure to track down any leads that you get, people in your database, your vendors, people who pass through your open houses, your neighbors. Find them and add them all to your social media. Okay, that being said, okay, it's all about balance. We don't want too many friend requests out at one time. So don't exceed 5 friend requests per day. Okay, so if you're like, okay, I've got my list of neighbors and all my open house leads, I'm going to go add them all to my social media today. Don't do that. Just do 5 a day. Okay, so right, a little bit at a time, because if you're adding too many, it's going to think that you're a bot and you're going to get your account frozen. And we don't want to do that. We want to stay active so that we can post and interact with people. So about 5 per day. And then once a week, you want to go into your friend requests and clear out those that are over a week old. Okay, we don't want to be sitting around with like 89 outstanding friend requests. You can always repeat the friend request, but we don't want it just, I requested friends a year ago and they haven't accepted yet. They're still sitting there waiting for them to accept. Just undo that request. You can always repeat it later. In addition to that, you want to make sure that you're either accepting or declining requests to be your friends or to follow you. You want to keep that cleaned up as well. So not only your requests to be somebody's friend, but also those who have requested to be your friend. Okay. I would recommend posting a minimum of 1 time per day. Okay, that would be the minimum. The maximum would be, or for more traction, you would want to be posting at least 3 times per day. That would be better. More is always better. And you want to do a mix of posts, right? A mix of videos, a mix of pictures, a mix of text only. In fact, last week, my top posts were actually the text only posts. Okay. You want to share it on your feed. You want to share things on your stories, and you want to share things on Reels. Like on Facebook, you have all three options. We want to do a mix of it all because some people watch stories, and those people are usually different than those that scroll through the feed, and it may be different than those who watch Reels. Like I almost never see anybody's stories. Okay, but I will watch Reels, or I will look at videos, or I will scroll through your posts, right? So it's okay to repeat content because, again, different people are going to see different post methods. Okay. If you're posting only once per day, I would recommend doing it in the morning so that your circle of influence has more time to interact with that post. And then also make sure you block time during your day to come back and interact with those that interact with you. So I would recommend like 30 minutes, 2 to 3 times per day, where you can go in there and emote on their comments, right? So if they comment on your post, you want to go in there and like give them a thumbs up or love that they commented on it, right? Reply to comments. And even like your own post. So you can go back. If I posted at like 10:30 this morning, I could go back at like 1:30 and like my post, which is going to help bring it back up to the top. Okay. Now, I know I said a minute ago, you want to emote, and I said you could give them a thumbs up. Okay. I said that's just because that's the only one I could come up with at the moment off the top of my head. But when you do emote on anything, whether it's somebody's post, a comment on one of your posts, use anything but the thumbs up. Okay. The algorithms like all the other things better than the thumbs up. Because remember, we used to just have thumbs up. And now we've got these other like caring and the heart and the sad face, right? Whatever it might be, or angry. They like it when you use those other options besides the thumbs up. So I would recommend not using thumbs up, but anytime you're engaging with those that are commenting on your post is getting put in front of more people because it's like, oh, this person's really using our system. They like us. They are, people are commenting, they're responding back. So we're re-engaging. Okay. In addition, those people who have commented or liked your post, go to their page and comment or like one of their posts. Okay. We want to interact with those that have interacted with us because it's going to help our posts to start showing up on their feed more frequently and getting in front of more people that aren't on our friends list. Okay. Also, don't be afraid to reach out and direct message people because people like messages. They like to feel important. Like, oh my gosh, I commented on her page, and not only did she respond to that, but then she sent me a direct message asking me how I was doing or asking me what I, whatever it might be. Okay. So people like that. If you are going to direct message somebody, like if somebody asks for more information and you're going to direct message them with more information, make sure to go back and comment on their comment where they asked for more information that you're going to send them a direct message. Number one, it causes them to make sure they're looking for it. Number two, that way you don't look like you're just leaving people hanging. All right. So the key times and topics to post. You want to catch people at the prime times. So what that means is that you need to make sure to post just before the prime time so that your post gets some traction and is there when people are on. And again, I would recommend posting at least 3 times per day. Again, no less than once, but at least 3 times. The peak times based on recent data are 7:30 in the morning, 10:30 in the morning, 2:30 in the afternoon, 5:30 in the evening, and 9:30 at night. So remember, we want to post before those times. So if we're posting at least 3 times per day, I would make the first post around 7:07 or before 7:10, between 7 and 7:10, because now we're catching that 7:30 crowd or those early risers that are scrolling before they go to work. That first post in the morning should be something inspirational or motivational. Okay, they're looking for help getting out of bed and getting to work in the morning. Okay, the second post could be at like 10:07 or between 10 and 10:10 because you want to catch those people that are stay-at-homers. Okay, post something that is home project related, DIY, right? Family related, or what you did or are doing as far as like outings go. Okay, so that's for that 10:30 crowd. If you're going to attempt a viral post, that 2 o'clock to 2:10 is the best time to post that to catch the 2:30 crowd. Okay, if you're like, Amy, what would be viral? I don't know. It changes day to day, crazy things. But the other thing that is good at this time at that 2 o'clock is like, do you like this or that? Okay, because people like to give their opinions and those tend to get more reactions. So if you're stumped at what to go there, that would be a good idea. Okay, at between 5 and 5:10. Okay, 5:07 to catch the 5:30 crowd. You want to catch the people getting off work, trying to catch up on the day's events. So you can post things like trending stories, fun news, entertaining posts, posts about movies or shows, posts that's going to guide them into evening activities. Okay, again, we're trying to catch that 5:30 crowd, so we want that post up by 5:10. Then at 9:07, right, that 9 o'clock to 9:10 time to catch the 9:30ers, we want to catch them while they're watching TV, scrolling on their phones, looking for something funny or entertaining, something lighthearted. So humor is the last post of the day. Okay. And again, make sure you're mixing it up with, plain text, pictures, stories, reels. Okay. Keep in mind that if you're posting plain text, use those backgrounds. If you're on Facebook that allows you to use like the colorful backgrounds and stuff, use those because again, when they give us something to use, it gets us higher in the algorithms when we use it. So they gave us those colored backgrounds for a reason. Use them. Keep in mind too, your social media videos should be shorter than 58 seconds. If you're using YouTube, then your video should be longer than 8 minutes. Okay, so YouTube is 8 minutes. Social media is less than 58. Iris asked, what about targeting those on their lunch break? The problem is that in today's world, people aren't taking lunch breaks at the same time. So that 2:30 crowd oftentimes either encompasses people on their lunch break at that time, or those people that, because what happens is people go to lunch when they're at work, and then they come back to work and they have a hard time getting back into work. So maybe they took lunch from 12 to 1, and then they're like, oh, now I'm back at work, and they're kind of dragging. That 2 to 2:30 crowd, those are those same people because now they're like, oh, I need a boost in my afternoon. What's on social media? I don't want to do anything at work. So it usually catches those people when playing with the times and looking at social media and what's had the highest reactions. The 2:30 time rated higher than the 12 or to like 1:30 time frame. All right. It doesn't matter what platform or platforms you decide to use. You need to make sure that you identify your ideal client or your audience. So who is that ideal client, right? I already mentioned for me, it's people that love being outdoors, specifically other horse people. Okay. For you, it may be people that are 25 to 40-year-olds that love sports cars, or maybe single moms, or people who love wine and want to find like perfect food pairings. Who knows? There's no wrong answer to who your ideal client is. But once you identify your key clients, you want to keep them in mind when posting and creating your content. Okay, the other thing that you can do too is if you need help creating content, go into other groups, other channels, find other creators that are targeting the same groups, research what it is that they're doing, what's working well, what isn't. If they're not local, like reach out to them and see if they'd be open to you picking their brain a little bit about what kind of posts they're doing that are getting the most traction. Okay, get ideas from other people. Okay, in addition, platforms like Facebook, okay, you only get a limited number of friends. So you want to choose wisely and you want to maintain your friends list. Okay. If on Facebook, just so you know, if you're like, Amy, I'm never going to hit the max, you will, I promise. If on Facebook, at 1,500 friends, you're considered an influencer. So you get a little bit more traction once you have 1,501 friends. So make that your goal if you're not there yet. If you're over 1,500, then your next goal is to get 4,000 to 5,000 friends. 5,000 is the max on Facebook as far as friends goes, because what happens is when you hit that 4,000 number, you reach celebrity status, which is the goal, because then you're put in front of the most number of people. Okay, with fewer than 1,500 friends, your audience that your posts are getting shown to is only 7 to 15 people. Okay, that's how many people you're generally going to see on your feed and how many people are going to see your feed. Once you get to 15,000, right, 1,501, your post will be shown to at least 50 people, and that starts to grow exponentially as you add more friends. When you have at least 4,000 friends, your audience is now 5,000 plus. Okay, so you want to make growing those friends a priority. The people you tag are going to see your posts, so that's a good way to get in front of more people. But remember, we talked about smart tagging, right? And not spam tagging. And each week when you invite people to be your friends, choose wisely, right? If we're using it for lead generation with the idea that we're going to generate leads from Facebook, we want to think about when you consider adding someone, ask yourself if they add value to your social media. Are they a potential client or a potential referral partner? Are they local to the area you want to do business in? Right? Or an area you're trying to access for future business. For instance, like we may want to add referral partners in other states so that we pick up their referrals. When you're looking at people, look and see, do you have friends in common? Right? Because if you do, that's a good thing, because they're more likely to accept your friend request if you have people in common, and you're less likely to get in trouble for trying to add them. Also, you want to see how open somebody's profile is, right? If we're getting ready to add somebody because we have friends in common and because we live in the same area, if it's set to private, then you may not want to add them as one of your friends. Okay, you may also want to look ahead of time and see, do they have a birthday? Is there some reason that I'm going to be able to interact with this person that I don't yet know? Okay, the more open their profile is, the better. If they have a birthday, that's even better, because we want to be able to wish them a happy birthday. That gives us an in to start building a relationship. So you also maybe want to choose a system to start going through your friends list regularly, so that we're making sure to delete any ghost profiles that we've friended in the past. People that, right, have left the platform. We want to make sure to keep that friends list clean, because your platforms, whichever one you're using, is going to like that and they'll reward the action. Okay. That being said, just like we don't want to add too many friends at one time, we don't want to unfriend too many people at one time, or again, it's going to think you're a bot and you're going to get in trouble. So just some things to keep in mind. Keep that list cleaned up. One good way to do that is to even go through people's birthdays, right? So every day I log in, check Facebook, who's the birthdays today, wish them happy birthday. I can unfriend people there if there shows up with bots. I can go through my friends list once a month and make sure there's no new like missing profile pictures, get rid of those people, right? So there's lots of ways to create a system around that. So now that you've decided on your platform, you've identified those that you want to do business with, it's time to plan for success. So first things first, block time on your calendar weekly for content creation, for posting, and for interactions. So remember I said that I would probably post or block like 30 minutes a day, 2 to 3 times a day, to make sure that we're interacting with those that are interacting with our posts. I may want to do all of my posts at the beginning of the week, so I may like block 2 or 3 hours on Monday to plan and create all of my posts for the week so that it's done. I can schedule those if we're using a system that allows you to schedule them. or I can just set them up. I can like create a notes or something with them all in there. So I know exactly what needs to be posted. I can do it from anywhere. So if I'm out and about one day, I can make sure to make that post happen. Set alarms on your phone for when you're supposed to be posting that content so that it reminds you to get in there and post them. Okay. Identify your posting cadence. And again, it may vary depending on what platform you're using. If you're using YouTube, it may only be once or twice a week versus Facebook, where it might be 3 times or more per day. Okay. Create a content calendar, which is going to help you create posts or videos. So go with themes. So it could be like a weekly calendar or a monthly calendar. So weekly, you might determine that every Monday you do a funny meme and a post about your weekend activities, right? So we have that on a calendar. Tuesday might be a post from a tip from a book that you're reading or a tip for living with pets. Wednesday, it could be a video of a property, neighborhood or happy clients, right? Something business related. Thursday, it might be highlighting a local business. Friday might have a call to action, like inviting somebody to open house or to events. Okay. But that way, when we go to create our content, we can look at our content calendar and be like, okay, I know I need 4 entertaining posts for Mondays, right? Some other ideas for weekly posts would be like asking if anyone wants a list of the open houses for the weekend. Anyone wants to see 4-bedroom homes or single-story homes, right? Or ranch homes. Don't post the list, but tell them to message you or comment below. That gives you the opportunity to interact with them and dig deeper to find out if they're looking for a home or consider selling a home. You can also set your schedule to monthly, right? So you might base it off a theme for each day where you have 30 different themes, one for each day of the month, and then we just repeat it each month. And then remember to not forget that 5-to-1 rule. 5 personal posts and then a business post. So once you've got that time blocked, you've established your cadence, you have direction for your content, then you want to create the content. Remember that it should be consistent branding. So we want it to be the same colors, the same filters on those photographs, the same fonts, because we're creating a brand. Search hot topics. What are people passionate about? What's going to get a response? Okay. And then also what pulls them back to who you are. I'll never forget, like one time I posted, it was like several years ago, like 4 houses ago, easily. So it was a long time ago. And my curtains were touching the floor, and I asked people's opinion on whether curtains should touch the floor or not. Okay. Stupid post. And to be honest, I didn't necessarily even care what people thought because I wasn't going to cut the curtains to make them shorter. But it got like 10 times as many comments as my regular post, right? People want to share their opinions. So make sure to include those. And then along that same line too, make sure to decide what soapboxes you want to stand on and what you want to avoid. Generally speaking, when using social media for business, you need to remember that it may cause people to respond negatively or stop following you, right? Or to choose not to use you based on what you post. So oftentimes we recommend that you avoid things like politics and religion on social media, but you can choose for yourself, right? It's all about selecting your ideal client who you want to work with. The other thing that you can do is you can search hashtags to include in your posts to find the top performing hashtags, right? And then we can add those hashtags into our content calendar so that we know for each type of post which hashtags we should utilize. It makes it really easy just to copy and paste those hashtags when we're creating the content. Hashtags help people to find your post or video that may not have otherwise seen it. And again, it's a tool given to us by those social media platforms. So if you're like, Amy, I've never searched anything by a hashtag, it's okay. It's going to help your algorithm, I promise. And then always remember to put a call to action in the post or in the description. Ask for feedback, opinions, polls, anything that would call for them to start interacting with that post or video. Okay. Let's see here. You could even, like, if it's a you know, if on the 14th of every month you post about helping first-time home buyers, you may want to post a link, right, to set up your first-time home buyer appointment or to learn more about buying a home, right? Schedule time with me. And then you have a link for Calendly, and you can add that Calendly link to your content calendar to make it really easy just to pull that link and throw it right into the content once you've created it. Let's see here. And remember, we don't want to throw the link in the post itself. We're going to throw it in the comment. So it'll be the first comment on that post. Let's see here. If you're having difficulty with content, make a list of 30 questions that people ask with regards to real estate or the buying or selling process, and just answer those questions in your posts or videos for the next 30 days. And again, don't be afraid to use AI to help with creating the written content or even the hashtags. It can help you come up with those hashtags. Create content in advance. Spend a few hours one day to pre-create the content for the week or even the month. Once your content is created, you can start taking videos and pictures and stuff for the next week or the next month. And then also remember that how you share your story is important. So it's okay to be real with people, but we want to try to avoid being negative. Okay, people don't want to see negativity on social media ultimately. And when sharing about closings or listings, just remember that you want to share what you did that makes you an amazing choice as an agent, not just that a house closed or that you've got another listing on the market. So share your story. Make sure to respond to any direct messages immediately. Okay, sometimes depending on the type of page, you can have response templates for both post comments and direct messages so that you can help respond quickly and easily, either copying and pasting it, or you can set it up like your iPhone has, where you type in a couple letters and it auto puts text in there, so you can set that up. And then make sure to have things like the lenders that you refer to on a regular basis handy and easy to get to, like in your notes section or something on your phone. So if somebody's like, oh my gosh, I was thinking about buying a home, what would be the first step? Makes it really easy to send a message, be like, hey, the first step would be talking with a lender to see what program would best serve you. Here's my favorite lenders that I would recommend reaching out to, right? You can just copy and paste it. Make sure to plan time in that day to respond to comments, right? We're time blocking 2 to 3 30-minute blocks throughout the day. In addition to responding in words and comments, also love their comment, right? Or give them like whatever, anything but thumbs up. If you're going to respond with a direct message, which I already mentioned, make sure that you post that you're doing so they look for that and that it doesn't look like you left somebody hanging. As previously mentioned, partway through your day, make sure you like your own post, which helps it move back up to the top of the feed. And as you create relationship, make sure we're adding those people to our database and we're tagging them appropriately, right? That way we can continue those regular interactions with them. All right, here's a couple of ideas to level up your lead generation with creating content and liking or commenting on posts, because that may not be enough. I have had great success at lead generation on social media using 2 different methods. Again, my primary lead methods is social media. So the first thing that I did is the scroll. Okay, I time block some of my day, not just to post stuff, but to actually scroll through the feeds of my friends, scrolling through my feeds. Okay, I'm trying not to get stuck on reels. I'm trying not to be like mindless scrolling. I'm looking for specific trigger posts. Okay, I'm looking for friends that are talking about not being happy with their current living situation. Those that are experiencing life changes, things like getting married, getting divorced, growing their family, becoming empty nesters, talking about aging parents, right? These are all things that may be an indicator that they may need to move and they may not have even realized it yet. Okay, if you see anything that might indicate, reach out to them and start up a conversation, because you never know where it might lead. But I'm always looking for those trigger posts. The next thing is that you want to be aware that your friends list is going to be automatically ordered by who you interact with the most. Okay, when you go to view all. That means we need to interact with more people. So every day, celebrate birthdays. Wish anybody with a birthday, happy birthday. Okay, if you're heading into a day off, you can actually pull up the birthday list for like the next 2 days to wish them an early birthday. You can always do happy belated birthdays as well. You could do them once a week. So you could just say, you know, on Monday, I go in there and find everybody who has birthdays for the week and I wish them happy birthday week. Okay, or happy birthday month. I can do it once a month. You can customize your friends list on Facebook and you can group people by like where they live, how you know them, what their jobs are. And that allows you to group people so that you can strategically interact with them. You can target posts at your groups of people. You want to strategically interact with those that you haven't talked to in a while. Add them to your database and put them on a plan for that quarterly social media interaction. Okay. I always talk about like the 5-5-5 plan, right? Where we call them 1 month, we interact with them on social media the next month, and then the 3rd month we text them, and then we repeat that. So we're getting a phone call, social media interaction, and a text message once per quarter. So I like that one because that's going to keep you interacting with people that you may not see on the regular basis. The more people that you interact with, the more people will see your posts. And the more people that see your posts, more of their friends will also see your posts. So be strategic. The second method that I use that leads to intentional lead generation success is groups. Okay, I look for 2 types of groups. The first being area specific groups, right? Homes and rental groups, the what's going on groups. I really like the general groups. It's allowed me to connect with lots of people. So I'm looking for people that are looking for information, and I'm not so worried necessarily about those that are say they're looking for an agent that they're going to buy, right? Because those are flooded with realtor comments. What I'm looking for are those that are looking for anything community related. I want to build relationship with them by sharing my area knowledge, sharing my vendor list, referring others, pointing out where the area attractions are, right? I want to form a social media friendship with them. In fact, I met one of these people last weekend. I'll tell you that because, right? So oftentimes that relationship is going to lead to business down the road. So I have lots of people on my Facebook page that I've never actually met in person. And I was at a Mother's Day event on Saturday, and this woman introduced herself. She goes, "Wait, what's your name?" And I go, "Oh, I'm Amy." And she goes, "You look really familiar." And I go, and she goes, "Wait, I know who you are. We were talking about that property that I was buying because you had some really valuable insight to the area and everything that was going on. And I really appreciated that." So we had only met through one of those community groups. It was like, what's going on in Bonners Ferry. We had only met through that group. And now we've met in person, right? So great way to create those groups. I've had clients come out of those groups before because I belong to all the horse groups in the area. And so I've had people looking for like boarding facilities. And we've talked about the difference between boarding versus maybe owning property to have their own house on their property. I've created lots of transactions that way. Okay. The second types of groups. So those are all the area groups first. Okay. The what's going on, the areas that you service. The second type of group that I'm looking for are groups that have people in them that are my target client group or groups that I have people in common with. So as I previously mentioned, for me, this is horse groups. It could be also like DIY groups, gardening groups, or outdoor activity groups. My goal is not in those groups to vomit real estate. Again, I'm just looking to build relationship with other people that I have things in common with, because those relationships oftentimes lead to transactions if you pay attention to what's being said. The final way that I like to lead generate on Facebook is that I've created my own local groups. Okay. It's given me the opportunity to connect with others that have things in common with me. So you could join another group that has horseback riding, right? For me, it'd be joining a group that has horseback riding, or I could create my own horseback riding group. And again, the goal in my group is not to vomit real estate. It's to build relationship, right? To friend or follow those people on their personal pages. This way they're starting to see my content from my page and we become Facebook friends. It's going to open the door to business in the future, but I'm not like real estate, real estate, real estate. Okay, just remember that if you create a group, you need to make sure there is content in it and that interactions are happening inside of that group for it to be beneficial. Both my writing groups, I had one in Solano County. I've got one up here where I live now. They're both like 400 plus people in those groups. And we started with just me. Okay. So it's really fun. The thought there is don't wait for people to come to you. Like go find those people. Some tips for groups. Keep track of the groups that you have joined because you want to participate in those groups. Unjoin groups that you aren't active in. Don't do them all at once. Leave only 1 to 2 groups per day, not more than 5 per week. Again, you're going to get in trouble for doing too many at one time. Put out valuable content to the groups you belong to. Again, we're not necessarily looking to self-promote. Okay, look to be the resource for those people and look to build relationships. You want to emote and comment on posts and responses to your posts in groups and in your feed. When you emote, again, don't use the thumbs up, use anything else. Let's see here. Work to earn badges in groups and always accept the badges when offered. Like in Facebook now in groups, they've got like top contributor badges and all sorts of things. And then find groups to join. Make a list of your interests, right? Who are your ideal clients? What are their interests, right? So our groups should be tied to those items. Join 3 to 4 groups. Okay, that's the max. Once you're good at posting and managing those groups, you can add more, maybe 1 or 2 at a time, but give yourself at least a month in between adding. And as a bonus item, post an intro video, right? Oftentimes I say don't self-promote, but post an intro video, right? Because most of these groups do have self-promotion rules, but an intro video isn't self-promotion. It's saying who you are and what you're looking forward to getting or giving to that group. And you can also throw in there what you do. So it's like sneaky self-promotion, but it's really about the group. So if I was joining a horse and tack group, right, in North Idaho, I might be like, hey, my name's Amy. Thank you so much for adding me to the group. I can't wait. I'm always looking for cool tack or tips related to horses or whatever. I can't wait to get to know you guys and see what I can learn from this group. I live up in Bonners Ferry. I'm a realtor up in Bonners Ferry. I can't wait to, meet some people in person, like whatever it might be, right? We can throw it in there. So sneaky self-promotion. So here's the summary. Daily, you want to post with a goal of 3 times per day, wish happy birthdays, and interact with those that interact with you at least 2 times per day. Day 1, right? So day 1 of the week, maybe we're creating the content for the next week. Day 2 of the week, maybe we want to delete any friend requests from the past week. So if we're doing this on like a weekly basis, a schedule and a process. Day 2, so like maybe Monday, we're creating content for the next week. Tuesday, we're deleting any friend requests from the past week. Day 3, we're growing our following with friend or following requests. Thursday, which would be day 4, we're posting on our business and community pages. And day 5 of our work week, we're reviewing those groups. So just an easy way to like throw that into tangible daily activities. Any questions, thoughts, or ahas? And I know we went over again. I apologize. Was this helpful? Crickets. All right, fabulous. Vanessa says yes. Thank you. You're welcome. I got a heart from Iris. Thank you. All right, fabulous. I hope you guys have a fabulous week. We will be back on Thursday. I don't remember exactly what we're covering on Thursday, but it will be fun as well. So I'll see you Thursday at 9 a.m. I was thinking maybe it was going to pop up, but I haven't seen it yet. All right. We shall see you Thursday. Have a fabulous